Hey everyone, before we begin, I just want to talk about the account review process and the future of how this whole system is going to work. In the current form right now, it's not sustainable, so I'm going to have to figure out a better solution, and it seems like I'm reviewing a lot of Raidens, Hutaos, Bennett, Xiangling, Xingqiu, Yulan, Fischl, Alhaitham, Xiao, a lot of these characters over and over. So what I think I'm going to do is look for more unique characters that people don't have very often or don't request very often, and then give you more of a breakdown of those characters, their teams, how you want to build them, and so forth. Because if you look at any of the previous account videos, the builds essentially stay the same, and so what works for one person will probably work for you as well. So check out the other account review videos. There is a special playlist on the channel that is just account reviews, and they list all of the names of the characters that are being reviewed in the title and in the description of those videos. So if you have several of those characters, or if you're looking at a specific character that you really want, you can jump to that section, just kind of fast forward or move along to find the character. You'll see their picture on screen, and that should be able to help you out. It does seem like there is a lot of interest in account reviews, but the videos don't really perform that well, so there is some sort of disconnect that we've got to work out. These account reviews are designed to help multiple people, but because they are very focused and very personalized, they may not help as many people as I think they should. And doing these does take time out of my ability to do other things that might be helpful for a wider audience of people. So for those reasons, I want to change things up a little bit and see what I can do to help more people with these account reviews, but not review the same characters over and over and over. So I'll look for more unique characters, or maybe we'll open up account reviews for a certain period of time and do it on the weekends like we do with our normal live streaming. And we currently have a few other things in place, like a random channel point challenge for account reviews. We do have a lot of good ideas, and a lot of those are in part thanks to you, especially with the comments from the last video, so thank you for that. And if you want to talk to me more about this live, I do stream mornings EST on Twitch, so we can talk about this more there. I just wanted to let you know my thoughts on the matter, and now let's get into the account review because this is a pretty unique one. Here we've got someone who really likes Eula. In fact, they like her so much that she is triple crowned and C1'd with some pretty good artifacts. So let's talk about this Eula. First of all, she's basically done. The only thing I see that I would really want is more energy recharge. The most replaceable piece looks to be the headpiece. Crit damage and attack percent is really the only good thing there. So if I was to try to get something else for her, I'd try to get a Pale Flame headpiece with more energy recharge on it. But it's not really fun farming the Pale Flame domain, so you may not want to do that. Alternatively, you do have some really crazy Pale Flame pieces, but if you have crazy Bloodstain pieces, especially like a headpiece that is way better than this, and maybe a Sands that's better than this piece, then you may want to swap those and just do 2-piece Pale Flame, 2-piece Bloodstained. Really the only advantage in having 4-piece Pale Flame over 2-piece Bloodstained and 2-piece Pale Flame is the extra 18% attack that you get, but honestly you can make that up in substats with a 2-piece and you can have more physical damage all the time instead of being under a special condition. But if you haven't farmed the Noblesse domain and don't have some really good Bloodstained artifacts, it's probably not worth doing that either. Suffice to say, your Eula is basically done. I really like that you have over 70% crit rate with her because I see people with under 50% crit rate, and it just hurts me so much because I know they experience her burst not critting a lot, and that feels really, really bad. But being level 90, triple crowned with a level 90 Serpent Spine Refinement 4, and having a 4-piece Pale Flame set with some overall really good substats, means you don't really need to touch Eula ever again. And next we move on to the Raiden Shogun. Now this is a more unique Raiden because she's running Homa. It makes me think that you might be pairing Raiden and Eula, which can be a very good combo, but mechanically can be very difficult to pull off if you don't want to extend your rotations by a bunch. And I'm definitely not good enough to keep doing the perfect Raiden Eula rotation combo. But beyond that, let's take a look at your Raiden because there's a couple things I want to address. The first of which is this crit rate, 11%, very, very low. I would absolutely drop this crit damage headpiece for a crit rate headpiece and bump this up to 42%, so it'd be 42, about 140, which is way better than 11 and 200. Secondly, I would also drop this attack piece for an energy recharge piece. I mean, if you look at the subsets, the only thing that's worthwhile at all is the energy recharge, and there were no rolls into it at all. Pretty much all went into flat HP. If you do those two things, you can still run an attack goblet on her if you want. It'll give you more electro damage because it's going to bump up your energy recharge by 51%. Though you may still want to run an electro damage goblet on her, though getting one with stats that match or equal to this might be pretty tough. I also recommend getting the Staff of Homa to 90. The higher base attack and more crit damage is always very nice. And if you are running Eula and Raiden together, you probably want to pair them with a character like Diona to help battery Eula, as well as a character like Mika who will be coming out in the Ayaka and Shenhe banner release. He looks like he's going to be a great support for Eula, but we don't have any final confirmation on that yet, so we'll just have to play around with him and see. Or if you happen to have a C6 Rosaria, she is also very nice with Eula. Unfortunately, physical teams aren't really in a great spot right now, but instead of Hoyo fixing them, they just say, you know what, we're going to make a character like Eula, she's going to do very big number and that'll solve the problem, definitely. However, with how invested you are in your characters, I don't think you'll have too many problems. Just make sure to stay away from mechanical enemies like Ruin Guards, the Perpetual Mechanical Array, and things like that, because those enemies have a 70% physical resistance. But also keep in mind that physical teams do very well against humanoid enemies like treasure hoarders and eremites, because they'll take increased damage from physical. So if you're trying to take on the Abyss with this team, they'll do generally better on the second half of floor 12 than they will on the first half. The Abyss mages can be a bit of an issue, but if you can get through those, you will just absolutely dominate the eremites. Alright, now that we've taken a look at that, let's take a look at your Xiao. Oh, look at this, very interesting, a 4-piece VV Xiao. You've also got the Jade Wing Spear level 90. Alright, let's take a look at the crit rate, crit damage, energy recharge. Okay, couple things here. First of all, you don't need a 4-piece Viridescent set on Xiao. He just wants the overall best substats, so you can do 2-piece attack, 2-piece attack, whatever gives you the most attack, crit rate, crit damage, and a little bit of ER. Xiao is a very energy-hungry character, and I personally believe that it was a very dumb decision to make it so he can't generate any particles from his skill while he's in his burst. And yeah, if his skill could generate particles during his burst, his C6 would need to be balanced around that, but that's an easier issue to fix than just being very energy starved all the time. So make sure to give your Xiao the best artifacts that are offensively oriented that give him the best amount of crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and energy recharge. And as far as his talents, you do want to level everything, so make sure to get his normal attacks and his skill up to at least 8 as well. And let's take a look at the final character, which is someone we haven't seen in a long time, and that is Amber. Amber just looks like she's holding some extra artifacts for you, and they do look pretty decent, but if you did really want to build Amber, I recommend going with a 4-piece Wanderer's Troop set, an EM Sands if you plan to use Melt Amber, Pyro Damage Goblet, and Crit Rate or Crit Damage Headpiece. The Skyward Harp is a super nice stat stick for her or really any bow character, but I get the feeling that Amber is here more to show off than anything else. Overall, pretty nice, Uwaki. Eula physical teams or just Eula in general is not something we've really seen very often. The Eula teams can be very effective, but they're also difficult to play very well. So make sure to get the supports, practice the rotation, and hope the boss does not become invulnerable when your burst is about to explode in their face. And while I did have a few suggestions and minor tweaks you could make here or there, overall pretty good stuff.